Okay, so today we're going to do my gentle yin sequence. This is, as the name describes, meant to be a gentler practice. And usually for me, that means leaving certain elements out of the practice to make it a little easier. There are other considerations I had while making this particular sequence, but that was the main thing because I do have certain yin classes that are more challenging. And I know that at least for some people, they come to a yin class and what they're looking for is to relax, to take it easy. I have mixed feelings about this because the way I was trained by Paul, the guy who created yin yoga isn't about relaxation. Whether you find it relaxing or not is beside the point. Ultimately, it is exercise. But it's not that you can't relax or be gentle doing yin. So that was my idea here. Let's do something where that is what we're aiming for, going for. And again, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but yin is so much more than that. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get started. We begin with a butterfly. Now this butterfly can target two areas. It can target the groin and the back. And usually you're doing one or the other. This would be the groin in close, and when we're aiming for the back, feet out further. So let's push those feet out. We're going to let our upper body come forward and down, nice and relaxed. And you can support your forearms, your forehead, your knees. All those things will make it a little gentler if that's what you need. Or you can sit on something which will push you forward a little more aggressively if that's what you feel you need. Okay, we'll be here for 3 minutes. Okay, we're going to come up and we'll make one small change, which is taking the legs out straight. Now we are more aggressively stretching the back, and we might get a little bit of a hamstring stretch here as well. Again, feel free to support your forearms or forehead with blocks or bolster. Remember to only do that if it's really necessary, because otherwise you interfere with the physiological effects of the yin posture. Again, the yin posture is not just meant to be relaxing, it's also supposed to exercise your fascia and connective tissue. So if we're very comfortable and relaxed, but we're not feeling any kind of stretch, then it isn't really working. So too much support can interfere. Okay, please take your time and gradually make your way onto your back for the rebound. While rebounding, try and avoid any movements, even small movements, and just relax. Feel your body. Okay, let's bring those legs in. Counter stretch. This is called the leg cradle. Moving freely and trying to bring some balance and relief to your body. Okay, our next pose is on the back. This is going to be banana. So what we'll do is we'll shift our hips over to the right edge of the mat. And then with the legs straight and the arms overhead, we move everything else but the hips to the left. And you want to feel a stretch here. These are your obliques. And perhaps up in here, these are your intercostal muscles. You might also feel it down here. These are your abductors. Okay, we're switching sides, so moving our hips to the left edge of the mat. And moving everything else but the hips over to the right. Let's rebound. All right, we'll bring those legs in, counter stretch. And then we'll use the hinge to come up. So hands under the hips, palms down, legs straight up, lift the head and neck, lower the legs, and then pop yourself up to seated. Moving on, let's turn to face the long side of the mat. Take your legs straight and wide and try and have your heels on the mat. You can sit on something if you'd like, a block, bolster, a folded blanket. The feet can point or flex in any direction. And what we want to feel is a stretch in here in the groin. So this goes all the way down to the knees, up to the pubic bone. We're just going to let the upper body come forward and down. Now, once again, you can support the upper body if you need it, but remember what the most important thing is. That is the stretch, feeling safe, and being just comfortable enough to be able to hold it for 3 minutes. So it's not about, propping a bunch of stuff up and making yourself super comfortable. If that's what you're looking for, and some people are, and some people need that, there's a type of yoga for that. It's called restorative yoga. It's very comforting, it's very relaxing, and it's not exercise. Yin still falls in the range of what we call exercise, and this is one of the things that so many people misunderstand about Yin practice. So if all you're looking for is some comfort, some quiet, some stillness, which again it's important, then find yourself a restorative class, because that's really what you're looking for, not a Yin class. right, now we transition to a tabletop position, so hands and knees. We want the knees on the mat, and if your knees are sensitive, please pad them with a blanket, or you can double or triple fold your mat if necessary, okay? And with our hips directly over our knees, we take the knees as wide as possible. And then you can stay in your hands, drop to your elbows. Your hips can be over your knees or press back toward your heels. Your feet can flex or point, and they can be close together or far apart. The stretch is in the inside of the thighs. Again, those are your adductors, also known as the groin muscles. 3 minutes here. Okay, let's rebound. I recommend doing that in child pose, but you could also lay on your belly. That's called crocodile. And you could also lay on your back, which is pentacle. Okay, let's come up to tabletop. We can do some bear pose there. You can roll your head and neck, shrug the shoulders, move the spine forward and back, and drop your hips from side to side. You can repeat and combine these movements freely. And when you're done, you can focus more on your feet and legs with the down dog, rolling over the toes, circling the ankles, pedaling the feet, and kicking the legs. Okay, from here, let's bring the right knee forward toward the right wrist, the right foot across the mat to the left, and the hips down and back. We want to feel it in here, in this region. This is going to be our glute stretch, and this is the sleeping swan. Quite a lot of variations for this, so we're going to go over them quickly. The right foot could be flexed or pointed. It can be tucked under your left hip or drawn up level with your knee so that your shin is parallel with the front of the mat, or anywhere between these 2 points. The front knee can point straight ahead or it can angle out to the right. The hips could be squared to the mat. They can also rock to the left or to the right. Some people like to place a block underneath the right hip to help support it, and you are welcome to do that. The head can be quite heavy, so some people like to put a block underneath their head or even hug a bolster and place their head on the bolster. Let's switch sides. Okay, we'll rebound. Again, same 3 choices as before. Okay, counter stretch, bear pose, down dog. One, the other, or a little bit of both. Okay, we continue with a set of back bends. Now normally I give you the choice between Sphinx or Seal, but today we will actually be doing both of them. So propping ourselves up on the elbows is the Sphinx. The head can be held up, drop forward, or drop back. Shoulders can be depressed or relaxed. Legs can be together, wide apart, or anywhere in between. And ideally we feel a little bit of compression in our back. We never want to feel unsafe, but we do want to feel something back there, okay? Now if you don't, today is the exception. Don't worry about it. We'll go deeper in a moment, okay? Okay, now we make a small change and straighten the arms That's called seal. And you can make seal more intense by walking your hands back, and you make it less intense by walking your hands forward. You have the same options with your head and shoulders and legs, so feel free to experiment. Remember, we want to feel some compression in our back, but we don't want to feel that what we're doing is dangerous. Let's rebound. My first choice for the rebound here might be the crocodile laying on your belly, but choose whatever works for you. Okay, counter stretch. So bear, down dog, leg cradle. Any or all of those. And eventually make your way onto your back. We finish with a spinal twist. So bringing the legs in and crossing the right knee over the left and dropping the legs to the left while keeping shoulders more or less on the ground. the weight of the legs, drawing the right hip over the left. And your arms can be straight, bent, high, low, palms up, palms down, symmetrical or asymmetrical. Your head can look left, right, or straight ahead. The main thing we're trying to facilitate is keeping the shoulders stationary, so facing the ceiling, while the hips face the left wall here. And that'll bring your spine into rotation. Rotation is one of 6 articulations in the spine, and in today's class we've done all 6, or we will by the end. We have one more to do. Let's switch sides. Okay, so left over right, down to the right side this time. And this is our final articulation, so we're again rotating the spine to the left this time. Pretty complete practice. We did the spine in all its articulations. We did some hip opening. There's a few areas where the hip opening is not as strong, so we didn't really target the hamstrings in a powerful way, nor the quads and hip flexors. So I may tweak this sequence, but I may also just leave it as it is. Again, my main objective was to create a gentle yin class. I'm a bit of a perfectionist and a completist, so I like when, if we're going to open the hips some, that we open them completely. And this sequence, while, you could say we still target the hip flexors with the back bend and the hamstrings with the caterpillar, I would prefer if these were a little more powerful. As a teacher, I have certain restrictions. So one of those is just the time that we spend together. Classes these days are 1 hour. And so even though I might want to add additional stretches, the only way to do that would be to cut back the time that we are doing each stretch, and I don't really want to do that. So like I said, I might take a look at the sequence and tweak it a little bit. I might find creative ways to still have it feel very gentle and yet maybe be a little more complete. But to be honest, I'm pretty happy with it as it is. It just feels pretty good in my experience. So I don't feel an urgency that there's something that desperately needs to be changed. Let's rebound. All right, let's bring those legs in. Give ourselves a little counter stretch. And you have two options at this point. If you have time and desire, you can go ahead and relax for longer. 5, 10, 15 minutes, as much as you like, really. But in the yin class, we do the rebounds between the postures, which function as basically the same as a shavasana in a more active yoga class. So in a more active class, you do all the relaxation at the end. In yin, we do the relaxation between the sets of postures. So if you're ready to get on with your day, you're more than welcome to do with that. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to spend some time with you if you're having difficulty with anything. Otherwise, I will hope to see you next time. And until then, namaste. Have a great day.